Did you know or imagine becoming a president at just 33 years old, refusing a presidential salary, planting millions of trees, vaccinating millions of children, fighting corruption, and then being assassinated by your own best friend? This isn't a movie, this is a story of Thomas Sankara, the man many call Africa's Che Guevara. Born in 1949 in what was the Upper Volta, Sankara grew up in a country that was clean, independent, but economically trapped. Foreign powers still dictated policy. Poverty was widespread, corruption was normal, and leaders often lived like kings while ordinary people struggled to survive. But Sankara was different. As a young military officer, he traveled across Africa and witnessed revolutions, liberation movements, and the fight against imperialism. He returned home convinced of one thing: Africa will never develop if it continued depending on others. Then, at just 33 years old, the plot was begun. In August 1983, a popular revolution swept him into power, and almost immediately he started doing what politicians usually only talk about. He acted. One of his first decisions shocked the world. He renamed his country. Upper Volta, a colonial name imposed by France, was gone. In its place came a new name: Burkina Faso, the land of the upright people, a nation with dignity, a nation with pride, a nation determined to stand on its own feet. Sankara wasn't interested in symbolism alone. He wanted results, fast, and the results came. Millions of children were vaccinated against deadly diseases. Schools were built, health centers were expanded, clean water projects reached communities that had been forgotten for generations. Within a few years, Burkina Faso became a model of public health progress in Africa. Then came agriculture. Sankara challenged farmers and communities to produce their own food. Land reforms were introduced, agricultural output increased, and a country once threatened by famine began moving forward toward self-sufficiency. But perhaps his most visionary battle was against the desert itself. Long before the climate change became a global conversation, Sankara was already fighting environmental destruction. He launched a massive campaign that planted over 10 million trees across the Sahel. His goal: stop the Sahara Desert from swallowing fertile land. Decades later, the world would call this environmental leadership. Sankara simply called it common sense. Then he took another enemy out: corruption. And this is where things became dangerous. Government officials were forced to live like ordinary citizens. Luxury cars were sold. First class privileges disappeared. Public servants were expected to serve the people and not exploit them. Meanwhile, Sankara himself lived modestly, no extravagant lifestyle, no palace obsession, no convoy culture, no billionaire president, just a leader trying to practice what he preached. But what made him revolutionary was his stand on women. In the 1980s, many leaders barely discussed women's rights. Sankara put them at the center of national development. He banned female genital mutilation. He opposed forced marriages. He challenged polygamy. He appointed women to senior government positions. And he famously declared the revolution and women's liberation go together. For millions of Africans, this idea were decades ahead of their time, but not everyone was celebrating. His reform threatened powerful interests. Traditional elites were angry, corrupt officials were furious, foreign powers were uncomfortable, and some neighboring governments viewed him as a dangerous example. Because if Burkina Faso could succeed without dependency, others might try the same. Then came the betrayal. On October 15, 1987, a gunfire erupted during a coup. The coup was led by a man Sankara trusted, his friend, his comrade, his ally. Thomas Sankara was killed. He was only 37 years old. The revolution ended, many of his policies were reversed, and for years questions surrounded his assassination. But ideas are harder to kill than people. As the years passed, Sankara's reputation only grew. Young Africans discussed his speeches, activists quoted his words, students studied his vision, and a generation searching for honest leadership found inspiration in his example. Today, decades after his death, Thomas Sankara remains one of the most admired leaders in African history. I tell the stories all the time. Do like, comment, and share your thoughts.